Hello my dear students, how are you? Hope you all are fine by the grace of Almighty God. Students, lesson number 13, Tom's Puzzle, page number 61. Tom was a little village boy. He lived in a small village of England. Every morning he used to deliver eggs at Mr. Clark's cottage and Mr. Herbert's house. Tom was a little village boy. The story is about a little village boy. He lived in England and he is a deliver boy. He used to deliver eggs at Mrs. Clark's cottage and Mr. Herbert's house. One morning Tom took his basket of eggs and set off for Mrs. Clark's cottage. As he went, he counted the steps he took. When Tom got to Mrs. Clark's cottage, he knocked at the door. The old lady came out and Tom gave her the eggs. "Boy," said the old lady, "you are a little late today." One morning, Tom took the baskets of eggs to Mrs. Clark's cottage and he started counting his steps. And when Tom reached to Mr. Clark's cottage, he knocked at the door. The old lady came out and said, "You are little late today." "Ma'am, it took me 80 minutes to get here," said Tom to Mr. Clark. "It is exactly 7,000 steps from my door to yours." What he said? "Ma'am, it took 80 minutes to get here. And it is exactly how many steps? 7,000 steps from Tom's door to Clara's doors." Now Tom walked with his eggs to Mr. Herbert's house. It was to the east of Mr. Clark's cottage. Tom counted his steps once again. But what a surprise! It was again 7,000 steps from Mr. Clark's cottage to Mr. Herbert's house. See, again Tom started counting the steps from Mrs. Clark's cottage to Mr. Herbert's house. So again, how many steps? It was again 7,000 steps from Carla's house to Herbert's house. Tom looked at his watch. He found that it had taken him 80 minutes as before. How strange! Now he started back for his home. Once again he counted his steps. It was again 7,000 steps from Herbert's house to Tom's own cottage in the village. Again, Tom started counting the steps from Mr. Herbert's house to his house. The steps and the time is same. How many steps? 7,000 steps. So, the distance between these three places is the same, said Tom to himself. How strange. When I go out to play in the afternoon, I will tell the other boys. That afternoon, Tom told his story to the other boys in the village, but he made it a little puzzle. He wanted to know how clever they were. So, the distance between these three houses, these three places is the same. So, that Tom wanted to tell all this story to his friends. So that afternoon, Tom told his story to the other boys, other village boys, and he made a little bit puzzle of that story. He wanted to know how clever they were. "Listen," he said with a smile. "This morning, I went to Mr. Clark's cottage. I counted my steps. I walked 7,000 steps. It took me 80 minutes. Then I walked from there to Mr. Herbert's house. Again it was 7,000 steps and it took me 80 minutes. Then I walked back home. This time also it was 7,000 steps, but now it took me 1 hour and 80 minutes. 1 hour and 20 minutes. Can you tell why? Don't be silly, Tom, said Toby. When Mr. Tom met his friends, he told his story. What happened in the morning? He told, "This morning I went to Mr. Clark's cottage. I counted my steps. I walked 7,000 steps. It took me 80 minutes. Then I walked from there to Mr. Hubbard's house. Again it was 7,000 steps and it took me 80 minutes. Then I walked back Then I walked back home. Again it took the same time. This time also it was 7,000 steps, but now it took me 1 hour and 20 minutes. The puzzle is in this only, students. The 1 hour and 20 minutes is equal to 7,000 steps, 80 minutes. 1 hour and 20 minutes is equals to 80 minutes. 1 hour. In 1 hour, how many minutes are there? 60 minutes. In 1 hour, 60 minutes. 60 plus 20 minutes. 60, 70, 80. You see? 60 minutes plus 20 minutes. How many? 0 plus 0. 0 only. Then 6 plus 2, 6, 7, 8. See here. 80 minutes. So, 60 plus 20 is equals to 80 minutes. 61 hours is equal to 60 minutes. So, don't be silly, Tom said Toby. Don't be silly, Tom, said Toby. If you took the same number of steps, you couldn't have taken 1 hour and 20 minutes. You must have slowed down your speed if you took that much time. No one was get this puzzle, and they said, "Don't be silly, Tom. If you took the same number of steps, you couldn't have taken 1 hour and 20 minutes. You must have slowed down your speed if you took that much time." "No," said Tom, "I didn't slow down my speed." "Then you must have stopped to talk to someone on the way," said Vicky. "No, I didn't. I didn't talk to anyone on the way." "Didn't you stop to dust your shoes, do up your lace, eat a sandwich or something like that?" asked Jim. "No," said Tom, "I didn't do any such things." "Then there must be something wrong with your old watch," said Bob. "No, my watch keeps correct time," said Tom, "but I never thought you were so stupid." "Tom, you're stupid," said Toby. "You couldn't have taken 1 hour and 20 minutes to go the same distance. You must have taken 80 minutes because you walked the same number of steps as before." "Ha, ha, ha! You fools," said Tom. "All of you are fools. 80 minutes is 1 hour and 20 minutes. Don't you know that much? Ha, ha! What a shame. None of you could answer a simple puzzle." Listen the video carefully, students. Read the lesson one time.